group as per North Carolina Constitution.
Is Alice K. Murray on? Gloria Gaffney.
So we could go through the same thing again with you. There's already been 2 deputies that have been named in the last affidavit. And we could do the same thing again. I don't want to do this. I honestly don't. I'm waiting for the deputy who's standing here that said, I swore an oath to the Constitution. And I say, well, Article 1, Section 12 says this. And they go, I had no idea. That's in the Constitution. I swore an oath to it. I'm going to let them know. Because if you can't defend the Constitution, who do we have? Who? Who do we call on next? You can't go to the courts. Courts are corrupt. You know that as well as I do. By people that have been arrested for crimes and they're out walking free today. You know that as well as I do. So if the court isn't working for us, if the school board thinks that they're above the Constitution, if law enforcement just doesn't know the Constitution, if the sheriff doesn't even give us the benefit to come down here with his presence and defend us and our rights, then what do we have? And this is why the people act the way they do when they show up and they have enough. But yet, when people start getting out of hand, then it's our fault. At what point are law enforcement that swore an oath to the Constitution going to get behind the people and support the people?
Just following orders is not a...
You know, that happened in Nazi Germany. People just followed orders.
Vietnam, the
So we
My
could do
Massacre.
this. How about
following
this?
orders.
You could call your lieutenant, who just told you to stand here and not let us in, except for according to them, who seem to be God at this point. You could call your lieutenant and tell your lieutenant, Article 1, Section 12 says this. You swore an oath to the Constitution.
Right here.
Now, in your heart of hearts, do you want to let us in according to the Constitution? Would you like to? Because personally, if I was in your position and I knew I should be upholding the Constitution, and I have an entity in there that's not about our constitutional rights, then I would call the lieutenant and say, hey, listen, here's what's going on, this is what I think. I mean, if your lieutenant right now said, hey, go out there and pull somebody over and punch them in the face, would you do it? No. It's a violation of their rights. So what's the difference with this?
That's okay. Just to make sure I'm getting people in the right place. Richard Hubert.
And I have this whole affidavit here. The sheriff also has this affidavit. Sworn and signed by 27 different people. And it was very clear. Notice of treason and insurrection, notice of maladministration, refusal to perform duties, notice of violations of Article 1, Section 12 of the North Carolina Constitution, violations of Section 241 and 242 of Title 18. You know what that is? 241 and 242 of Title 18. That's the color of law. Basically, when somebody gets into a position like these guys, and then they think they know what they're doing when they infringe on our rights, but they're using their office just to tell us what to do. Right? 242 is actually when 2 or more people conspire together to infringe the people of their rights. We have a whole school board doing it.
Richard Liston, are you here?
I mean, this is all of this is unacceptable. And it took hours and hours and hours.
She's right here. That's me.
And tons of working with people smarter than us that know the Constitution to create this. And it seems like, you know, as candidate for sheriff, I shouldn't be out doing this. The sheriff should be doing it himself. The sheriff should be marching in there right now. But let me guess, he's just not going to come down here. Is there anybody with higher authority than you here? Are they here? He or she?
Chad,
Oh, is it What's her name? Lieutenant Ball, yeah. Is she here? Is she inside? Can she come outside?
Don't know if she will or not.
All right. Will you tell her to come out and talk to me?
Can't tell.
Or will you ask her to? Yeah. Is this working? All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
All right, awesome. My name's David Hurley. I'm running for sheriff here in Buncombe County. Personally, I think that the sheriff himself of Buncombe County should be out here instead of me, making sure that the people are able to do what the North Carolina Constitution says we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
Article 1, Section 12 of the North Carolina Constitution says that we have the right to assemble together to instruct our representatives. Not one at a time, not according to the silly laws on this table over here.
Assemble!
If we can't assemble together, then we're just a single person going in front of a board with no voice, nobody to back us up, and we're just another 3 minutes. They sit there and look at the list and go, halfway through. I am personally tired of public servants. We need to stop calling them elected officials. They're not elected officials. They are public servants that answer to us.
Unelect them!
And I'm very tired of public servants not understanding what the Constitution of the United States says, or even reading it, or the North Carolina Constitution says, which they raised their right hand and they swore an oath to. I don't know about you, but I'm not in the habit of signing contracts that I've never read. And that's exactly what these people have done. Not to put you on the spot, Deputy, but I even asked him if he had ever heard of Article 1, Section 12. No. I don't understand how the defenders of the Constitution, and I'm not talking about somebody that writes legislation or a judge or a district attorney, but defenders of the Constitution, the people with the power to arrest those who don't give us our rights, how they don't understand what it is they're supposed to be defending. Now, I've gotten a lot of flack lately on social media that I don't have enough law enforcement experience to be sheriff.
Yes, we're the line and we're all
Without freedom in the United States,
David,
She said we're going
they're
one at a
starting
time.
and that they're doing one at a time.
okay,
And
hold
we-
on, ma'am. Without freedom in the United States, law and order means nothing. And it doesn't take years of experience to figure out that what's going on right here tonight, just like the last time we were here, is wrong. Now, on top of that, there were several people that worked for hours and hours creating a 10-page affidavit. This 10-page affidavit says that they violated our rights. We gave them 3 days to resign for doing these things. And then we gave them 5 days to answer at what authority they had to violate our rights. And if they were silent, then that was an admission of their guilt. Guess what? We got nothing back. The hours of work that we poured into it meant nothing to these people. And that's why these public servants, all of them, not just here in Buncombe County, but across America, need to understand that all their power is derived from each one of you standing here today. Now, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to let us go in one at a time because they're afraid of the people.
What right do they have to do that?
They don't. They don't. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've told that deputy standing behind me that even though I'm standing in front of you guys speaking on a microphone, I support the people. Right? That's why I'm running for office. I support the people. If the people want to go in and speak according to what the Constitution tells them they have the right to do, I'm not going to stop you because I support you. So you guys make the decision, and I'll be right there. I've already written up a whole thing about how they should resign today. And as far as I understand at this point, by not responding to this affidavit, it is an admission of guilt to an admission of guilt to treason and insurrection, maladministration and refusal to perform duties, the violation of Article 1, Section 12 of the North Carolina Constitution, violation of Section 241 and 242 of Title 18, which is basically using their office under the color of law to do whatever they want. And then 242 is conspiring together as a board to infringe on our rights. And it's here at this point, with all these cameras rolling, that we need to tell the rest of America that here in Buncombe County, we've had enough of these people, of these elected officials, doing whatever they want without first understanding the documents that they swore an oath to.
Yeah.
Now, very quick, I'm gonna turn it over to Michael real quick. He's gonna do a prayer, and then we're gonna proceed from there.
I have one thing to say. If God be for us, who can be against us?
Amen.
God has not given up on the United States of America. He has not thrown us away.
Yes.
Let's take our hats off and pray, please. Bow your heads and pray. Father God, we thank you for your presence here tonight. We thank you, Lord, that we are here peacefully assembling. But Father God, we got a fire in our hearts that you've lit on fire. A fire of passion for righteousness for our country. For righteousness to rise up in each one of our hearts, a righteous indignation. Father God, you've called us to protect our families and our children for future generations. Father God, we call forth your presence here tonight, and that even though, like Moses, we're speaking to the heart of Pharaoh, we recognize that you hardened Pharaoh's heart and you softened Pharaoh's heart until you got your will done, Father God. We do not look to the board, but we look to you. We do not look to President Trump, but we look to you. We do not look to politics, but we look to you.
Amen.
And if we turn away from our wicked ways and humble ourselves before you, you will hear from us. Heaven will hear from us. And you, Father God, will heal our land. We pray these things in the name of Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen.
Let's go in.
Go. All together.
Greetings, board members. First, I want to thank you for your work and commitment to our children and youth through supporting and guiding public education. And thank you for this time you have allowed me to speak to you this evening. My name is Millie Morrow, and I am a parent of a child in our public education system, and I am a priest of the Episcopal Church here in Asheville. Before becoming ordained in the Episcopal Church, I was a social worker in East Tennessee. As a social worker, I went into the public schools across 17 counties of East Tennessee and talked to children and youth and teachers about what we then called personal body safety. My job was to tell these sweet children that difficult truth that sometimes children are hurt even by trusted adults. As you can imagine, this is a difficult conversation to have, but unfortunately necessary, as 1 in 4 of our children is sexually abused before they turn 18. Now, parents had the option to opt out of these conversations for their children if it made them feel uncomfortable. So there were always kids that had to leave before I began to speak. But the goal of education isn't to create comfortable spaces. Our job in education is to teach our children to think critically and to build resiliency to problem solve and hopefully become adults who can work to create a better world where perhaps these difficult conversations aren't necessary. Wouldn't that be nice? Hiding the truth doesn't make people safer, but hiding the truth might make a few people more comfortable. Our state has voted in House Bill 324 to make certain topics of our country's history illegal. Supporters of that bill say that it would keep people from being made to feel guilty due to their race or their past actions of their race, and it would protect the dignity of all. I am sure that parents who chose to opt out of the conversations about sexual abuse thought that they were protecting their children too, but as a social worker and a parent, I know the fact that it makes them even more vulnerable to not have these conversations. Hiding the truth never protects the dignity of any person. Hiding the truth only protects the comfort of a few. So I ask, whose dignity are we protecting by not talking about the truth of racism and white supremacy in this country? And who really is being protected by House Bill 324? Banning certain conversations does nothing for our children. Banning conversations in public schools only protects the comfort of a few, and there is nothing public about that. Thank you for listening, and as it looks outside, you all have my deepest prayers and appreciations. Peace.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you. I'd like to call our next public comment, please. Please step up to the microphone for public comment. We all ready for our next public comment, please?
Yes.
Be just a moment.
Hello, I'm one of the white supremacists who is in favor of House Bill 324. That just irritates the hell out of me. My name is James Fulton. I'm in Arden. On May 5th, I spent time organizing my thoughts and rehearsing how to condense them into a 3-minute blurb. Then on Thursday, I arranged to leave my office early so that I could drive across town to present those comments at your meeting. I signed in as instructed to secure my spot for providing comments. However, roughly 45 to 60 minutes later, your guard ordered everyone who was waiting outside to leave the premises or possibly face arrest for disorderly conduct. While I was not a member of the large group of constitutional purists who were negotiating for entry, I certainly left the premises as a member of that group. I emailed you the next day to express my outrage at how you had treated your constituents. I wrote to my county commissioner representatives last week to ask that an item be added to this week's county commissioner meeting agenda. They declined. I also wrote to Ms. Matthews with a similar request for this board to propose a resolution in support of North Carolina House Bill 324. Ms. Matthews replied that this item will not be on the agenda, but you can speak for 3 minutes during public comment and leave materials for the board to review. So I asked if I could make a presentation to the board at today's meeting. Ms. Matthews wrote back that the board had said no to my request to make a formal presentation and that it was not added to the agenda. No reason given, just no. So the May 23rd front page of the Citizens Times published an article about a city council member, Gwen Whistler, who had threatened a constituent that she would reach out to her employers and advertisers to punish her for writing a magazine article with which Ms. Whistler must not have agreed. Why do elected officials think that they can treat constituents this way? I had hoped that proposal of a pro-HB 324 resolution on this agenda might result in a discussion among yourselves in public that would allow us to understand your positions on bringing critical race theory into schools. However, I'm guessing, which I shouldn't have to do, I'm guessing that you would be against House Bill 324. It is also clear that you do not want to discuss the fact that you continue to require children to wear masks at school when there is no scientific evidence to support a belief that this is necessary. I do not agree that you know best and that I should just shut up and keep paying my taxes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So
Are the kids still masked? You know where you were? The kids still wearing masks?
Yeah, they still are. That's the problem. They're using our children.
Hey, what Lieutenant say?
We'd like to go in. We pay for this building, sir.
We pay their salary.
Our children deserve for us to be in there, and you can't
It's not
keep
your
us out.
fault. It's not your
It's
fault.
not. We do have the right to be in there, all of us.
You should do
You
the
gotta
right
go
thing.
to the top, folks. You gotta go to the top. You gotta throw
No,
the
you
weight
don't.
out.
No, we don't. We want to come in
He can do
today,
the right
tonight,
thing.
He
right
can
now.
do the right thing, and
Not
he
one at a
wants to.
time
I can
either.
see it in his eyes. He swore an oath to the
You guys
Constitution.
are
You're
abusing
to
our
uphold
children.
our constitutional rights.
Our children are being abused.
We're not doing the right thing.
Let the
Right
people
thing
in.
that we put you in office
Let the
for.
people
We
in.
all want to go in.
Let them
You
in.
can do it.
I don't want to put you on the spot.
What's going to happen if
Have
we
the
all walk
guts.
in?
Step
What's going
aside
to
and let
happen?
us in. It's our right, sir. Have the guts. Have the courage. It's our right, sir.
And we are
You are
peacefully
going to be
requesting
held
that we will walk
responsible.
in.
You
We're
will be
walking
held
in with our
responsible.
You will be
children.
known across America as another
Do the right thing.
person that just stands in the way of our rights.
I've already been here
Do
twice.
the right thing. You know it's the right
I've done this
thing.
twice. I'm coming
And
in.
this country belongs to we the people.
Just let us in.
By not responding to the affidavits, they've admitted they're criminals. They're going to tell us we can't come in?
Again,
They're criminals.
We're the good guys.
again, and that includes the sheriff.
Yep, that includes the sheriff.
You follow the Constitution. That's the only thing you swore an oath to.
So about
This is a free country. We deserve
Not
to
above
be
the
there.
law. Not above
And
the
your
law.
defense
Abusing our
is,
children.
your defense
We want to
is,
talk to them.
I was following the Constitution. The door's locked. It's very
We
simple.
will behave and we will be good patriots and sit there and behave. You need to let us in.
We have a right to peace
Come on, Deputy Sparks.
and be
Let us in. This puts me in a hard spot. Obviously, I'm running for sheriff. I don't want to. That's the thing.
We all want in
I'm
right
standing in front
now.
of these people
Please.
because I want to defend these people.
The door's unlocked.
So who's going to defend them?
If the police do not enforce the law, who will?
What do we have if you don't? If you don't uphold the law, we have nothing. We have nothing in this country if you don't uphold the law.
You're serving
We've
the
lost
wrong.
our country.
You're serving the wrong side.
Do you want to be a communist?
We
Let us in.
appreciate that you work for us. Please work for us and
Let us in. And then we will assemble peacefully.
Why can't you?
That's all we're doing.
Who do you work for?
We're trying to
Do you
assemble
work for
peacefully.
them,
Or do you work for us?
What is your oath? I want to see it.
Until the police align with the citizens, we are never going to have peace. Ever.
Never.
Is this
Or
a public
freedom.
or a private building?
If you enforce their laws, their rules, which are unconstitutional, then you're a part of the problem.
Just move aside and let us in,
Please
please.
let us in. We're going to be in there peacefully.
Let us in.
The fear you have.
We
Let
will
us
be
practice
peaceful.
our rights.
We're not going to
Let us
riot.
be part of
That's
this
the other
government.
side.
We're not BLM.
We're not BLM. We're not Antifa. We're
And
the
I will
good guys.
personally make sure
We are the
that
good
everybody
guys.
stays in line and is respectful
Support
in
each
that.
other.
We're the good people.
We love our children. We love our children and we deserve to be in
Serving
here.
an unlawful sheriff. I know that.
Let us in!
Get any better.
Let us in! 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 Let us in!
He's following.
Let us in!
Put it this way.
Let us
If I
in!
can get sheriff,
Let us in!
He's following.
Let us in!
Told him to do.
that's not something I take lightly. The reason I'm running is because that's here. That lieutenant will be in the same position because first and foremost is the rights of the people.
You got a crooked DA.
It's not about law and order.
He can't even bring people into court. So the DA lets them go.
Thank you, Sheriff. We got the.
You're going to look like the bad guy on YouTube. You're going to look like the bad guy.
And I feel for
And
you.
we're
My
kind of
heart
tired of
does.
having to defend you guys from all of the stupid people
But
that
it's
out there
time
hate you.
to do the right
So
thing
stand up for
for
us.
People sign that.
Stand up for us.
We are allies. We're not your enemies.
We are your allies.
We are
You want
allies.
to believe you're the good
I
guy.
thank an officer every time I see him. Thank you for that.
Let us
I
in.
thank you guys every
Thank you for what you're doing, sir.
Just move aside and
Are
let
you
us
just
in.
following orders?
By doing that, what are you doing
Just
wrong?
following orders.
What will happen to you if
That's what the
will happen to
Nazis
you?
did. They just
What
followed
will
orders.
happen to you
If it's
Communist.
unconstitutional,
if you let us in?
you
Nothing.
can't.
Nothing. So they're going to fire you for upholding the Constitution?
They can't fire you for
Let them fire
upholding
you for
the
upholding the Constitution. And I will personally make sure that you can sue the county and sue the sheriff's office for
Your
it.
oath is to the Constitution. Don't
You
you
swore
believe
an
in
oath.
it? Don't you believe in our Constitution?
Or were they just
Do you believe in it? Yes or
You
no?
believe in the Constitution,
Yeah,
sir.
officer. Do you believe in the Constitution?
You're just following orders, yet they sit here and throw you to wolves. And then you go home and you get pissed that this is going on in the rest of the country. At what point do you stand up?
Yelling
At what point?
You know who's been aggressive all year? BLM and Antifa. That's right. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm showing my children how to stand up for myself. Thank you. And sometimes I'm yelling. Sometimes it does.
Hey, man.
They're choking our baby.
Calm down. There's plenty of kids. I'm guessing that one's yours. Don't use that language.
Yeah, they've all been sitting up there watching.
Well, what's up with this?
Sitting up there watching. Terrified.
Huh?
You are terrifying people.
I don't understand why you won't get her to come out here and talk to me. Okay. So let's do this then. Do you have Sheriff Miller's phone number? No, sir. Will you ask her to call him again?
I will in a few minutes. Not right now.
I don't think the people are just going to go away. If I was a guessing man, you're going to be sitting here all night. Because eventually those school board members are going to be coming out. And if they do this meeting without us again, once again they have held a meeting illegally. Will you do me a favor and ask her to tell them that we out here demand them not to hold this meeting today, because once again we have not had our chance to speak.
You'll be the next one served, sir. You'll be the next one served. 2 3-minute speeches in 20 minutes.
Honestly, I've been nice.
Can we do that, please?
I'm not being nice anymore. Why was she here? Although I was polite, and I will sit there politely, but I want to.
For the sheriff. Good, she's gone. See, that's the thing. The people who show up here and they want to cuss and act a fool, we don't want them here. I don't want them here. But these people deserve the right to speak. These people deserve the right to speak together. There's long before you and I were ever standing here,
We have the right to assemble.
people were standing in front of their representatives, instructing them on how they wanted business to run. It's no different. You tell me, are you telling me that these people get to tell you, the defender of the Constitution, how things are going to run?
We have the right to assemble peacefully inside a building that we pay for.
We
We
pay
have
your
the right to,
salary
and
and
you know it.
all their salaries. We pay.
And you made your oath to the Constitution, which says
Not
that.
to them.
No.
We've had a
Our Bill of
suggestion.
Rights, Amendment 1.
We've had a suggestion from someone that
Or your lieutenant?
knows what's going on out there. He said, get a phone that's got a lot of battery charge and hand it to everybody and put it on FaceTime, and that way.
Hey everybody,
says it'll
if
be
you got
out.
a cell phone, put it on something live. YouTube, Facebook, anything you've got.
And then you can hear each speaker. And when they say something you agree with, let them know it. I think you got a
Who's the
larger
first?
group than the last
Who's the
time.
first speaker? Where's Mr. Speaker?
They're in
two?
there. There's 2 in there.
There's 2 already in there.
There's 2 already in there, and
Okay.
I didn't have a speech, but I came just to support. But when they told me I couldn't get in and observe what's going on, the good Lord gave me my speech.
And one of them has been
Because
going
for
to the
years,
schools with
I'd go in there and sit and watch that board meeting. For years.
Not anymore.
Well, this gal
Not
now,
according
this
to
gal
that
now
Deputy
said,
Clerk.
"Oh, we're going to look at changing the rules." I think the county commissioners better look at changing the rules, and I think the school board better, because we're getting nowhere. We have no communication, and I'm
Stop hiding in his office.
Hey, I made a suggestion to the county commissioners that they get out in the community and have small community meetings and hear what the people say.
Well, they don't care.
Oh, no, they don't. You got 3 minutes. Don't
the whole
call
point.
anybody out by name. You can't say cuss words. You can't tell them they're an SOB, you know, so.
So one person's gone in to speak. That's it? We're going to be here all night. Is that right? Yeah, one person.
How many people are signed up to speak?
A lot.
A bunch?
Do we know how many?
A whole bunch.
40 times.
Can you give me a side view, like a mugshot?
40 times 3 minutes.
You will be the criminal in this whole thing?
40 times 3 minutes. You're going to be out here all night. And then when they
You're
go
the
to
bad
leave,
guy.
we're still going to be
Online,
serving.
you're the bad guy. You're not the good guy.
It's not going to end.
You think you're the good guy.
I don't know.
Online, you're going to be portrayed as the bad guy.
It's been 25 minutes since they took 2 in, and that's
The people of
6
America
minutes.
will
They probably know what's going on
They
in
don't
there.
want to open
And they don't want to open the door and let the
They
next
don't want to break the
person
seal.
in. They know it's me.
Well, I was saying you could run for sheriff and probably get it.
Our school system is suffocating our
Maybe not.
making them wear masks.
What would actually happen if you upheld your oath to the Constitution right now? What would happen?
Well, look
Is that an organization? Is that
I
a?
asked him where he'd been hid. I want you to look. That's the first time I met him tonight.
Oh, I know.
Look how long you've been on the board.
Yep. Is that if you upheld the Constitution and this organization fired you?
Yes.
Is that an organization you want to work for? Is that a sheriff you want to work for?
Hey, he's got her handicapped.
Is it?
He's probably got a house here. Probably born and raised here. That's why us people.
It's all
take
about
this
a job.
route.
It's all about a job. It's all about
No,
the
it's all
paycheck.
about being attached to your homeland.
Well, it's about a paycheck. That's why you won't get out of the way.
They won't really fire you, and if they decided to do that, we'd probably come and be in your defense if you
Yep.
open up the door.
If they tried to fire you for moving out of the way,
Where would you defend
all of
him
these
at?
people would be standing there.
Where would you defend him at? The courts of Buncombe County?
No, they just wouldn't fire him.
When the judge totally ignored the deal about the Vance Monument, he's going to try to defend himself in Buncombe County. You might as well forget it. You got a crooked sheriff, you got crooked lawyers. The son of the guy that ruled on that Vance Monument, his father ruled against the jury in a trial about the Western North Carolina Air Pollution Control Board.
You know, and we are just the...
See, these things people don't know.
What else?
Sheriff.
Tell me about it.
David Hurley.
I do
You can't get discouraged. Go in one at a time, have your speech, say what you think, and by God, be back the next meeting. And the next meeting. And then go to the
You can't fight it in court.
All of these children would like to come in. Go ahead.
You can't fight it in court. Well, neither is fighting in court.
There's more coming. There's more coming. I'm pretty sure. Of the United States in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense.
We have to get out of our heads thinking that the court system is going to come to our defense and do the right thing.
Secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity to ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States
The judge and the defense at the same time. That's what an affidavit is. So we said, hey,
They've been letting us speak longer than 3 minutes, I believe.
I reckon.
Officer Sparks select you into the building.
I got a question.
He's right there. Maybe he'll
How many are going to be back at the next meeting?
Because right now,
Let me see. You going to come back to the next meeting?
through the affidavit.
Look them in the face and tell them you can't come in.
We don't have a judge and a
Why?
jury with an
Why?
affidavit. That's not how it works.
You can't tell them why?
I don't know.
They deserve the
You won't
truth.
let me in.
Why can't they come in? Officer Sparks, I'm speaking to you with respect. Why can our children not come in?
Both of you are out.
Officer Sparks, the children, ask him why.
He's out.
Sir, why are asking politely? Why? Why can't we
Both of them are out.
Hey guys, these
You up
children
next?
I'm next.
These children are trying to ask him a question. Children, ask him the question.
What I'm saying is,
Why?
Before I let
can't
you
we
in.
come in?
and I'm gonna have to get everybody back up behind the barriers. Because I'm not opening this door and let people rush in.
We're not going to rush in. We'll walk in.
Got your words on that?
So
One at a
children,
time?
Officer Sparks would rather talk to these people
All
over
of
here
us,
than you.
one at a time.
How do you feel about that?
All of us.
It's a little rude, isn't it?
We're not going to rush in.
Elevating your mind.
You really don't want to see
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
All right.
And let one at a time, and then let the other one in 30 seconds, and another one in, so we can go and peacefully take our seats.
I can let one at a time. They go to the podium and speak. I can let another one go and stand by in this room next to us. And when they're done, they can come out and they rotate through. Trust me, I get that. I get it.
He understands, he just can't do it, folks. If you're gonna get to, if you're gonna get to speak, you're gonna have to follow the rules. Yet that's the facts. Now, I'm sorry.
Nope.
I don't like it.
I don't take it.
All right.
I don't take it. That's not the Constitution.
I
Amendment
know.
1.
Look.
No, I'm not
Then
going to
you defend the Constitution right now. What are you going to do? Attack him and
I
throw
am
him down?
asking him peaceably over and over again.
But he can't do it, and he ain't going to do
Why
it.
are you fighting us?
I'm not fighting you. I'm just telling you. I asked you how many going to be back next
It
time.
doesn't matter. Nothing changes until the people put their foot down. Sorry. Officer Sparks, these children want to know why they can't come in. Please answer them. Sir,
because you're just following orders.
To go in. Let her talk. You know what? You're interrupting the children speak. Let them speak.
Sir, we have full right to go in.
Don, you need to stand down, please.
No, I am not standing down. I've been fighting this for 25 years.
You're gonna fight each other. That's gonna
Hey.
get you far.
You're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Whenever they say jump, well, we're just going to jump. Say
That's
how
what
high.
Don's saying. That's what Don's
You wear that
saying.
hat that says "Make America Great." Make America
President
great.
Trump would be ashamed.
You're
I'm
not
sorry.
going to beat it here.
President Trump would be ashamed. So children, you were right.
You want to know
I'm
what
so
they
sorry
can't
he felt
take, Don? They
listening.
can't take those kids out to come in that meeting.
People are liars.
That's what they can't.
Amendment 1 of the Constitution says you have the right to peacefully assemble and the right to...
No, I'm fine right now, but I cannot let anybody in or out because the fear of them wanting to single file in.
We're not going to rush the door.
10-4, thank you.
I feel so much for you. Why is he Yeah, why are you here? Don, you just need to move away, bud. Don.
What?
We're all a little bit upset with you right now. Y'all calm down.
I don't have an answer.
Everybody calm down.
Well, I'm a little upset with Don, and I'm
Because
talking
I was told to stand here at this post and allow one person in at a time.
Well, you can say that to them. You can say that to them.
Yes, the children asked and they want to know.
Just tell them the truth.
Tell them the truth.
They're smart.
Don't scream at me.
I'm not gonna, okay? I just want your attention, and he wouldn't give us your attention, so I'm raising my voice.
Come in and talk to the kids.
Okay.
This is the reason I can't let you in, okay? They've got a plan where one person can come in, another person can come in and wait in the room next door. When the first person goes to the podium and gets through speaking, they come out and the person in the room waiting can go talking at the podium. I will allow another person to go in as long as everybody's not up on me. Because I'm not opening the door.
But why are they doing one in, one out? What's their reason? Like, you don't know what you're enforcing here. We have the right to peaceably assemble, do we not? Per the First Amendment of the Constitution, and you swore an oath to the Constitution. So, what trumps what?
So you're upholding something that you don't even understand.
You're upholding a rule that they made randomly that doesn't have a basis in law, sir. That's why we would all like to come in, because we have the right to peaceably assemble. Okay, I'll leave. And it has been a little bit longer than 3 minutes, so is this a time thing?
If you could get everybody back up for me where those horses were, back off the sidewalk there,
Then you get on the 3-minute timeline?
then I will be more than happy to start sending people in. But I'm not going to have everybody up here around me, people talking about Russia. through
We're
the
not
door.
talking about rushing. We're saying we would like to enter our building.
Right.
So
Nobody's gonna rush through the
No,
door.
If everyone will back up,
if
away
everybody
from
will
me
back up,
and give me some space.
But hold on. So you're violating our First Amendment right to peaceably assemble. Excuse me, I'm having a conversation.
no, but he's trying to make sense.
He just wants us to back up so he can open the door.
I'm an SRO.
What was that?
I'm a school resource officer.
Are you?
So my heart's on the kids. So,
But he's saying
Are you gonna let more than one in?
I can let one in. They go down to the
That's
podium.
not what the Constitution says.
Man, that's what I can do right now.
But you're not following the Constitution. The Constitution is where your oath is, not their little petty rules. They can't just make stuff up. We have the right, we the people have the right to assemble. We're going to be peaceable. We'll back away so that we can walk in a single file line.
Yes.
One at a time. That's all
But
I can
what
do.
law is that based on? What regulation, what school board write-up is that based on? Because it's a violation of our constitutional rights in your building. And I'm upset about it because my oldest son has had to wear a mask for the last 8 weeks. And it's not okay.
School board member over there, and they're laughing. They think this is
They're laughing at us
hilarious.
because it's based on nothing. They just made it up. One in, one out, based on no law, and it's a violation of our constitutional rights.
It's an auditorium.
Yeah.
Social distance.
We totally can.
There. It's an auditorium.
Yep.
How many people can fit in there? I've been in there. I've given public comments. So you can social distance in an auditorium with 20 people.
So we want to know what this is based on. Can you please ask
It's
them?
ridiculous.
Can you please ask them, sir? Officer Sparks,
Does
I'm
everybody
asking,
agree
can
to
you please
stay
ask
6
them
feet
what
apart?
law
Right?
this is a basis on?
We agree
Where
to
do
stay
they-
6 feet apart. I mean, that's a pretty good
I was
compromise.
second speaker.
Okay.
I'm after you.
Don is supposed to be number 3.
Yeah.
I already spoke.
Great.
So why aren't we allowed in?
Well, we can.
Don signed up.
I signed up
I
too.
signed up. I'm after Don.
But we should be allowed in as a group to
Well, if you'll
peaceably
back
assemble.
up, he'll let us in one at a time, and you can have
Yeah,
your
Don,
say
I'm
so.
noting this.
Do
as
we
you've
have to
been
back
extremely
up?
compliant
Yeah, he
today.
wants
I
everybody
just
back
need
because he
everybody
doesn't want to
Nelson,
rush
on
it.
the
Where they
record.
saw horses were earlier, give me a little bit of space and I will work with y'all to get y'all in
Yes.
one at a time.
But not one at a time. We won't take that. It's not constitutional.
That's
So
the
you got
only
a
option
choice.
we
You can
have.
tell them
But
what
it's
you
not
think,
What if we
or you
social
can
distance?
be sent home without speaking.
But what if we
Listen to other
Then go
people's...
tell them that in there.
What,
Tell
sir?
them
Sir?
that. They
Sir?
can do something about it.
Stop
He
it,
can't.
Don. Don, stop it.
Sir,
You're
what
out
if
of
we
line.
work with you and we keep
No,
this
I'm not
social
acting. I'm telling you the
distance?
truth.
I don't want to talk to you.
He can't change it. You know you don't want to talk to me.
About 20 people, social distance.
What
10.
violation are you committing?
5.
Can you call somebody out here? We have the right to hear what's going on in there and to see their faces and experience this meeting.
How are you going to be arrested? Should we call the sheriff to arrest you if you'd like to let us in at once so we can hear what each other has to say? Can we get the sheriff?
And a water fountain.
Can you call the sheriff, please?
Very, very nice.
The sheriff's
Sheriff's
away.
aware of it.
And what law is it? What law is it that you're breaking, that we're breaking by going in here 2 at a time? Is there a citation number? Is there a ticket? How are we going to be arrested if we go in? Is this?
You've got the health department. You've got the health department passing rules. You got to wear a mask. They don't have the authority to pass law. You got people enforcing the governor's edict when he said if you've got a problem breathing, you don't have to have a mask. I mean, this is just a symptom of all of that stuff. And it's going to take a unified effort out here among the people to address it. Here, county commissioners, city council. And go in, have your say, come back out, be here next week, have your say. Do what you can. Because right now, all you're doing is blocking me from getting in. And this is my second time here. And the first time I was here, they told us a story. They said nobody signed up, and that's true. That I did sign up. That was a lie, and all of you signed up, and that was a lie.
Update. I'm Andrea from our local Patriots group. I just want to give you an update. Officer here at the door says we can go in as unconstitutionally bright as this is, one at a time. One person waits in the waiting room, one person speaks. done. So we don't have the ability to hear what's going on in there. We don't have the ability to see our school board's faces as people talk. We don't have the ability to peacefully assemble inside the building. So note that, and if you want to go in and speak, it's based on, turn it back on. It's based on no law. No law. And it's a violation of our constitutional right. The First Amendment says we have the right to peacefully assemble. So what I'm saying is, if you want to go in and speak and you signed up, get in a single file line behind his barricade and be obedient. Do not rush the door. We never said we would do that, but somehow he thinks that we were saying we would do that. We're not that kind of people, but we do want to go in as a group. So if you want to come up and have a conversation with the officer or those people who are laughing at us through the window from the school board, yeah, they're laughing
That's
at
what's
us.
on the live stream.
Despicable.
One person spoke.
This is unacceptable.
We've not been able to see anything.
Now, because I raised my voice so I could be heard, he thought I was yelling at him, fine. But I'm tired of being nice, and I'm tired of not yelling and not sharing my voice about this. Masking our kids is wrong. Social distance in school is wrong. Keeping our children fearful is wrong. The mask mandate, vaccinations forced on 12 to 15-year-olds is wrong without parental consent. And that's why we're here. So if you want to obey these non-regulation, non-laws, nobody voted on this bullshit, then you can stand at the line and one by one go in. If you don't want to participate in that and you really like me, I'm ready to just go get some dinner. But really, this is a violation of our constitutional rights, and he knows that. He made an oath to the Constitution, and they put him in a bind. So, our children deserve better than this. We deserve a better school board than this. For them to mock us through the window is absolutely immature and irresponsible and just a mockery of who they think they are.
Unacceptable.
So, we never said we were going to rush the door, officer. We said that we have the right to be in there and peacefully assemble. And you're nodding your head yes because you know that I'm right. And we have the right to peacefully assemble in a building that we paid for with our tax money.
That's right. We own this place.
And it's an auditorium. We can sit 6 feet, 12 feet, 3 feet apart, whatever makes them happy. Now, I don't know who needs to call whom to get to them and ask them what law they based on this one in, one out thing. But if somebody could get on that, thank you. We really need to talk to somebody inside. Or the next person speaking could ask them what law that's based on, and could they please show us why we can't come in, why they're able to violate our constitutional rights. So that's the First Amendment. If anybody has a copy of the Constitution, please pass it forward. I know some of you carry one in your back pocket. Here's one. Bring it up to that gentleman right there and show him the First Amendment. That's the update.
No, sir, I'm fully
There's
aware.
also some people from the press here, and we are peaceful people. We've always been, which is part of our problem, but also part of our strength. There are officers staged up at the top of the hill. Guess what? We won't need to. We defend you. We defend you guys every day. We thank you for your service. We honor and respect you, officers. I've been to DC twice. And you guys have protected those asshole rioters at BLM and Antifa. You protected them from us. And we are never violent. We are never violent. We defend you guys every single day. So I would like to encourage you again, officer, to do the right thing and let us peacefully assemble in the building that we paid for with our tax money, please. And we will behave and be quiet and speak in turn. And if there's somebody who can call inside or speak to them inside, we really want to know why they're violating our rights. Thank you.
By the way, officers, on the Vance Monument, we didn't write defund the pigs. No, they did. We didn't do it. We don't want to defund you. The other side wants to defund you. It's time you wake up and realize who you should be defending. It's the peaceful people. We have a right to be here and be heard. And you know it. Decide whose side you are on. Tonight.
We're children. Please let us in, officer.
You want to tell the officer what happened to you? You don't think he listened?
I'll listen. No problem.
Go ahead, you can tell him.
I can see in your eyes, you ain't happy.
They're trying to take a public comment right away. He's saying we're a disruptive group out here who are taking away the right to the people to speak.
So he's trying to stop the further public comments. Whoever he is. No, it was the other guy.
It's hard to believe.
Not him. There was another guy
High school
speaking.
Graduations will be closing out our 2020-2021 school year.
And they just came on. They've been off the whole time, except for the first speaker. They've been off. They just came back on. Yeah. So again, if we were Antifa or Black Lives Matter, we would be in there right now. The doors, every one of these doors would be open, would be invited in.
Yeah.
But we're not. We're conservative, God-loving, caring for our kids. We love our kids and our grandkids, people, and we're not allowed to go into the school board.
11 o'clock. That ceremony will take place.
All right. You wasted your time. They shut public. Why? They shut public comment down. I told you. They control. Look, you can stand out here and yell all you want to. You're not going to get inside and tell them who you should talk to.
Who cares what they think?
Okay, I tell you what. Do you want to do something or you want to stand out here and yell?
Aren't you special? Maybe both.
Well, keep yelling real hard.
Did they say they're not going to hear anybody?
No, they shut it down.
They shut it down?
They shut public comment down.
Second time in a row, just like last time.
They said we
and then they lied and said nobody wanted to talk.
Yeah, they're lying. They said that we disrupted people's rights to make public comments.
Used to work for Robertson Stevenson, and all he does now is work for school boards.
Good for him.
Gave them the information that he advised them to shut it down. They had legal standing to do it. Now,
Good for them. Well, that solves it then, doesn't it? That makes everything better.
They post online if no one was here.
I was listening. They said that the people outside were disrupting it for everyone, so they were shutting down public comments. So our debate, I wanted to ask them.
Trying to find out.
Will you make sure that we let them know that we were not being disruptive? I were being verbal, but that's our right to be verbal. We're not tearing things down. We're not destroying anything. We're not graffitiing things and breaking windows. If we were Black Lives Matter, Antifa would have been invited into that board meeting and given front row seats, every one of us. So just let them know that we're just here trying to our right. Oh yeah, because they're telling us to go away. They shut us down. The guy said we were disrupting everybody, and then they were shutting down public comments.
So next time we come in Black Lives Matter outfits.
Yeah, and Antifa, right? And then we'll go in.
So yeah, if we show up in Black Lives Matter shirts, will you let us in then?
And pieces of Advanced Monument in our hands?
Those are the only people that get to come to these things?
Costumes, work on your costumes for next time.
What if you passed it off the line and say, you know, we could actually make history by doing the right thing? I mean, so that takes the pressure off of you. Put it up the line. Just make the suggestion.
And you know what? They turn off the comments. You cannot even make comments on the YouTube posting. They did this the last time. You can't, yeah, you can't say anything.
Can you say that again?
They turned off. You cannot make a comment on the YouTube. Last time the same thing. You could not go and make a comment and respond to what they were saying. You could not say anything. So they did this on purpose so you can watch it, but you cannot comment or have any kind of a social impact to state your opinion. So that's another example of them taking our right to make a statement away.
Somebody said
again.
Shut down public comment. You know that?
Right now, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I have not been told.
Okay. Who would know?
It was on when they finally came back. Because they've been shut down.
Okay.
They've been shut down a long time.
I know, but
it's this guy right here, whoever he is. It's this guy.
It's this
guy who shut it down.
He got it from somebody else. Or somebody else. Hearsay. I want to hear it from, the officer or the school board.
He's the one that said that we're disruptive, and how is being verbal being disruptive? We're just trying to exercise our right of free speech. So how's that being disruptive?
It's not.
No. He's being disruptive. I guess we need to go through another round of affidavits. But
I'm on the outside.
Now they're moved to graduations. So they've already moved on.
Yeah.
We have filed paperwork to. Most of it they had the cameras off.
Yeah.
So you
they're
couldn't
doing
see.
these meetings in secret. Cameras off.
Correct, yeah.
Without the
Most of
people.
it's off, and they come back on and they make a statement about the people being destructive outside,
And then
taking
they won't
away their
allow
right
us
to make comments.
even online.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, again.
For individual comments or no? Not at all.
They shut them down.
Like even if I was not even part of this group, I couldn't even
Correct.
comment.
Yeah. Okay. I had something that was totally different too. Oh yeah. Hey, and that is another statement. They had something totally different, not part of this, and my public comments were not actually going to be about masks, although I'm supporting the mask, removing masks from kids as well. I had a different public comment. So why are they not allowing me in? Why are they not allowing her in? They're lumping everybody out here in the same group and refusing to allow all of us our right of free speech.
That's what they did last time.
Yes. Twice now. Go to YouTube and type in Buncombe County Board of Education.
Traveled in November. We had a 3-week trip to Texas.
Got some good footage, huh?
Yeah,
With the paradigm.
I pack it every day.
My good friend.
So what I suggest is if you ever listen to this guy on TV again, you should be ashamed of yourself because it's not unbiased reporting. He doesn't care about America. He doesn't care about fixing America or mending what's going on. Instead, he just wants to sit there and talk about
That
something.
is his right. You're preaching the Constitution. That is that man's right. You can't say anything about it. The only
No, I
thing you
can
can
because
do,
that's my right as well.
That's right. But
Okay?
you know what you do? You be the bigger man and you show that he's wrong. That's what you do.
I try to do it right now.
No, that's not it. You don't need
I try
him.
to do it right now.
You don't need him.
There's a reason why Republicans are voting for me, because I've already shown myself.
Are y'all inside there? No, you're not.
What's your name?
Did these affidavits work? No, they didn't. And
I mean,
they
I
shut
just
it down.
reported that. That's what I was always saying.
They just shut it down.
You want to get him?
And everybody here had an opportunity to go in and say what they thought. And if every one of these people went in there and said what they thought, that meeting would have gone on until 10 o'clock tonight.
That might not be even true.
Guess what, sir?
Because it's
It's
a whole
the
board
only
against
thing
one
you've got.
person speaking.
So you either take it
It's
or
a whole
shut up.
board against one person speaking. That's not an opportunity, sir. Okay, bye.
You're so good with that camera.
No,
And the other night with the telephone.
Yeah.
Shut stand here and listen to him.
They shut down the public comment.
Completely.
Yeah.
So what's he
Because-
talking about?
Well,
He's saying you can still go in one by one?
no, you can't. He said we could have gone in one by one. And see, the point is we're supposed to be able to assemble peaceably according to the Constitution, but we don't follow the Constitution anymore.
But they don't. The thing is there's no consequence.
Yeah.
You know, we can say we're supposed to this and we're supposed to that, but if they break the Constitution, there's no consequence for them. So, what's their incentive to respect us or to fear us? You know, government is supposed to fear the people.
Yeah, it
And
is.
they don't, because we don't seem to have any kind of power, and the police aren't on our side. So,
No, they're not.
Every time he walks
Might give me the vote.
Is she here? It's bedtime. You were asleep and I don't. It's okay.
One of my oldest, I think we just have to stand out here till they come out and let her know what we think.
they still won't make sense. What's the next step for the affidavit?
Well, you know, our presence is important, and our conviction is important.
All right. Yeah, it's been an interesting day out here. Y'all caught a. All right, y'all caught some interesting things happening out here with some riled emotions and some misunderstandings and some different issues with strategy to get elected and different. I don't know. It's been an eventful time out here. A lot of people frustrated with Buncombe County Board of Education doing some dastardly things, not letting people come in and speak. So, and then laughing in the windows. That's kind of sad. But there's a lot of patriots out here standing up. There's no violence, no inciting, no vandalism, no terrorism. Just people. Just a lot of people that are hot under the collar because of the evil, oppressive things that elected and unelected officials have been perpetrating on our school system out here. So here in a second, we'll get Tamara Parker, a friend of mine from church a long time ago, and also head of WNC Freedom. Here she is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it around and get her in the camera shot. She's going to give you a sit rep on what's happened out here and what steps to take next for us to all remain unified out here and not so much infighting amongst patriots, because we're all hard-headed.
Yeah, that we are. So they only want to allow us in one at a time to make brief statements, which is not according to the Constitution. The Constitution gives us the right to peaceably assemble as citizens, and they're treating us like we're a group. We are. I mean, I know maybe half the people here, but the other half I don't know. So we don't all know each other. We're all here for different reasons. We have different concerns about critical race theory, about math, about vaccines, and the fact that the state of North Carolina is now saying that 12-year-olds and up can have vaccines at school without parental consent. What could possibly go wrong? They're barely matching their socks, and they're supposed to make something that could have lifelong impact without parental consent. I have a big problem with that. They not only would not allow us in, they cut off the video feed on YouTube, their own inside video feed. So most of the meeting, I think, if I'm seeing this right, was done in secret. They maybe allowed one person to speak, would not let us in the building, and they turned off public comment on the YouTube channel. So not only could we not speak inside, we couldn't speak on the YouTube channel either. So I think one of the next steps, we filed, the same thing happened last time. There were about 50 of us here, 40 people signed up. They lied, the attorney lied and stated that we did not sign up according to the rules, which there were 40 of us that did. And
okay, now they're letting people come in. Now they're letting people come in one at a time. Now that most of the crowd is gone.
Yeah.
That's pretty dastardly too. But that's horrible. But at least some people are going to get. At least some people are going to be heard.
What made them change their mind? No accident.
So you're informing this after everybody's left? You're letting us know?
Because the crowd is thinned out, it's not safe for us
Oh,
to allow.
good.
Oh my God!
Seriously?
Oh my God! What?
Do
Do you want to speak?
I would love to speak. Thank you.
Where does that number come from? You get to make that up as you want.
We
How does the way things work, ma'am?
want to see?
Hey.
My kids.
Can you bring your children in?
Oh, the crowd is thin, so we're no longer a threat to them, apparently. They waited until everybody who signed up left, basically.
Well, it doesn't matter if we're only going to go in one at a time. How is that not safe?
So we're going to go in one at a time.
Nothing on this says that we have
protocol.
Where is everything? Because we signed this. This is a mutual agreement station. It is.
All right.
Now,
Don't like to speak one at a time.
That's not okay.
Are you?
Can
And
she
let's just
bring
get in
her
line.
children with her if she speaks?
Yes, I have 5
If you want to.
She can.
I don't want to leave them out here.
Yes, yeah, don't leave them. Yeah, don't leave them. Please go get them. Please go get them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. What about you? Oh, you're hi. Okay. Who else? Do you want
Stacia Harris will be filing agreements tomorrow because you guys did not follow the rules.
Anyone else?
Director of Communications.
Let's walk down here. Excuse me. Are you up? Excuse me.
All right, who can watch my children when I go in? Thank you. I don't really want to take them in there if they're playing.
Show us support.
Are we all there for real?
Oh, one at a time.
One at a time to be assembled together?
You're allowed to video the people who are speaking.
I mean, if they're with. I mean, no, we're YouTube living it. So it'll be on live. Come on, let's get in line. If y'all want to go, let's go.
Now? I can't hear you.
That's bullshit. Other than provide public comment, well, I signed
Can
up
you
to
guys
make
let these folks through?
Yeah,
and
I
I
should
don't
be
know where
allowed
you
to
got that
video.
we're not peaceful.
You can video yourself while you're speaking. I mean, you can video while you're talking if you want.
Well, I should be allowed to video everybody.
But we're YouTube living it, so
Well,
it's available to the
So they
public.
can,
Half of it was blocked
No, it's
out.
they can edit it.
Yeah, the first half of it was totally blocked out.
I want to speak
How's it blocked out?
There was nothing on. One guy
Yeah,
talked. and
we
then
weren't
big
allowed
long
to see it.
pause, 30-minute pause or something. And then the attorney comes on to say that he was shutting out public comment.
Oh, okay, yeah, because we were in a recess. That's why.
that's convenient.
That's convenient because all of our people are home.
Yeah.
Sorry, smell.
You gonna go in?
Yeah, that was really good.
Okay, go ahead.
Ask her if she can guarantee that it's being filmed.
So disrespectful.
Can you guarantee that it's actually on live right now?
Hey, hey, Andrea.
And we have several more ready to go.
This is unbelievable. You guys have trampled all over our constitutional rights. All over them.
Okay, thank you.
Well, look on your phone. It's on YouTube Live. I don't know. You can check it.
There's a person in a red shirt who wanted to speak.
Yeah, I still want to speak.
We just want to speak. We're not Antifa. We're not BLM. We love our police officers. We pay taxes. We pay taxes. We pay your salary, Stacia. We would have torn this building up.
Yeah, just go. We're queuing the line back there, so he's first, she's second. She's third.
Yeah, we want to hear everybody's comment.
I can play in line.
Hey,
No, you go in front of
Yes.
do you mind if I go first?
No,
I'm gonna go first.
No, David.
We're still
I have been standing here. I was in front of you.
We're broadcasting it. Okay, so part of our protocol is we are unable to have visitors, but we are allowing in-person public comment one of a time. I mean, no,
What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anything.
No, because you said you waited for the to thin. So what are you afraid of?
All right, so do we have our line in place?
Will you please answer my question and do me some respect?
This is not kindergarten. Please don't treat us like we're kindergarten.
He's a retired school teacher. He
I'm doing
deserves
the best I
respect.
can
That's
to
what I
keep
did with
everyone orderly
I know, but
and
that's what I did
safe.
with my first grader.
This says we can all be in there together. So does the First Amendment station.
No. I'm holding.
Yeah, good God is right. God is probably also.
Get in line. Get in line. Put on your mask.
Should we get the next person in?
Okay. You're first. You want to come through?
He's allowing me to go first because he has a lot of respect.
My name's Lori Timmerman. I live in West Asheville. I'm here to speak against any vaccine mandates for children especially, but for any ages. The vaccine has safe alternatives for treatment for any COVID cold flu symptoms, such as ivermectin, which is being used successfully throughout the world with 50 study trials and a recent ivermectin summit. The vaccines are not proven, they're not safe past any 2-month date for the vaccine trials. And in fact, FDA in their own presentation listed side effects as brain inflammation, stroke, heart disease, autoimmune disease, and many of these symptoms are now being experienced with the VAERS system reporting over 4,000 or 5,000 deaths and 50,000 serious injuries. So I really strongly recommend against any vaccines for children. As you know, the CDC stated the children have a 99.997% recovery rate. They're not at effect for this virus. They have natural immunity. Under 50 is 99.98%, so most of the working people. And what's proven by the frontline doctors is there's safe protocols for the 3 phases of early treatment is the key for this, using antivirals, ivermectin, and hydroxychloroquine, as well as, for the phase of inflammation, and then the phase for the anticoagulants. So I personally have from my doctor here in Asheville a prescription for prevention of any COVID or COVID flu variants, prescription for once a week for ivermectin. So the NIH has said they're neither for nor against, and that means physicians in the US can provide this life-saving drug. And the testimonials, the 50 studies, the doctors that presented in the ivermectin summit is truly astounding and truly breathtaking. So I'd like the panel to take all of this information in consideration, really do due diligence, especially with what we're seeing right now with the release of the emails for Fauci. We're finding that maybe the policy of the Buncombe County Schools was not necessary at all for this whole last year to mask children. And we know that it's almost like it restricts oxygen. You rebreathe in your own CO2. Just to be respect bodily sovereignty, bodily integrity, and not have any intrusive types of mandates either for masks or for a medical procedure, which is actually against the Nuremberg Code. So I respectfully submit my comments.
One day at the office?
Yes, sir. I told him about Sheriff.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah. You heard of him?
I will. He hadn't heard of him before.
It's not live streaming, so we can't hear it. They've cut it off. So they're having a private meeting without the people.
Here's your YouTube app.
I do.
It shouldn't be holding a meeting at all if it's not public.
Tonight's a compromise.
Oh, no.
Hopefully to make
it's an open meeting, so it has to be public, even electronic. Right now they've got it.
Yeah. They should fix that. That would presuming they
Yes.
He's got a Michael's got a speaker here so we can hear. Michael, can we have your speaker up here?
Oh, he is? Oh, awesome.
Are you in line?
Jesus' name.
Hands behind your back. Don't touch the walls, kids.
Wait, we gotta put a snoot over your head.
It's what I had to say.
Can you hold your mic up to that and let her
Somebody
play
have it
on
on
the
their
speaker?
phone?
She's got it.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah. Nope. Sorry.
Well, yeah, that's a problem for us all. See, I think
You have a pen? Get his info picture.
Bathroom's open. Hey, Lori, I'll walk with you. I got it. Lori, I'll walk with you.
As our next bill comes up, I'd like to remind you we'll have 3 minutes until the
And
where you're from.
Sure. I don't know. Guess who told him it's not here? I'll let us say. Lieutenant Paul. Oh, Lieutenant Paul. You don't want to get 22 more after. She's still out. Now you get it. No, she's getting them too.
Thank you and good day. My name is Gardner Hathaway. I'm a resident of East Asheville. I have 3 children and they're 38, 40, and 42. I feel like it's a great privilege to be able to come into this hallowed room and speak with you all. I was here at the last school board meeting and we were denied entry. And it was said that no one wanted to speak when that was clearly not the truth. So I was disappointed then, but I'm very happy to be here now, and my comment is very brief, and my sign says it all. And the previous speaker here just referred to Dr. Fauci's recent email release, which lets us all know what we already knew, that masks do not stop virus transmission. And to insist that our children, who are at little to no risk for this virus, spend their day in school with a mask so they can't breathe good, so they can't see good. What if they have a runny nose? What if they have a cough? What if they have a snot? You know, it's child abuse. It really, really is. But scientifically, as was previously stated, it lowers their blood oxygen levels.
Yes.
And it raises the carbon dioxide levels. And that suppresses their immunity, which is the last thing we want right now. Not to mention they can't smile and laugh and see each other's faces. Please reconsider. I know it's not in your hands, but know what's going on and help free the children from this bondage. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We're ready for our next public comment, please. Again, I will remind you we'll have 3 minutes to speak and the microphone will turn off automatically. We are ready for our next public comment. Thank you. And please start with your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Andrea Olson, and I live in East Asheville.
Thank you.
Okay. When does the timer start?
When
Oh, it
you're
already
ready.
started. Okay. So your public comment rules, which we signed on our way in by mutual agreement, don't state anywhere that we have to wait outside like animals. Our First Amendment right says that we have the right to peacefully assemble. I would request that in the August meeting, you please allow everybody who comes to your meeting to come inside and experience a public forum, as our Constitution says that we have the right to. Thank you. We are a very peaceful group of many, many different local groups. We support our law enforcement 100%, so there's nothing to fear. I have a 10-year-old and have 4 other children. 4 of mine are being homeschooled forever now because of this last year. I will never put them in a mask. My 10-year-old has been in a mask for the last 8 weeks. I traded that for 3 years of homeschool with him coming up. So I get him home for middle school. But it's broken my heart to have him there with Asperger's, which is a form of autism, wearing a mask every day. It's not okay with me. The mandate was reversed by Governor Cooper a couple of weeks ago. These children should not be forced to wear masks. These children should not be forced to social distance. This is child abuse, I do believe. I have my master's in psychology. I've worked with children for a long time, and I have 5 of my own. We are instilling fear in our children. If you want to be responsible for causing a whole generation to be fearful that they are going to infect other people with something that medicine has proven that they can't even transmit. They don't carry it. They don't transmit it. They have a 99.99997% chance of recovering if they get COVID. They have missed out on their education. When my kindergartner was put into virtual school, we had an iPad in our house for a week and everybody went ballistic. I couldn't stomach it, so I took her out and I learned how to homeschool properly. The homeschool percentage in the United States has skyrocketed because of this. We are the 2nd largest district in North Carolina behind Mecklenburg County, the homeschoolers. Yes, sir. Anyway, 12 to 15-year-olds and getting vaccinations without parental consent, this can possibly make them unable to have children. There are scientific studies out there. We are jumping the gun. Now, if I'm allowed to go to Lowe's and I'm allowed to go to Walmart, and I have been this whole last year without a mask, without showing proof of vaccination, then my children should be allowed to go to school and not have to wear a mask. If you can go to the mall right now and not wear a mask and do all your shopping and be close to people, then our children, who are our future, should be allowed to breathe freely. Please protect our kids. Please make this go away. They don't deserve this. They really, really need each other. Children and adults alike, scan the room to make sure everybody's safe. We look at all of your faces, all of it. And if they can't see half the face, they can't feel safe. And if we're really wanting to make our children feel safe, we'll keep that in mind. Thank you so much. Please protect our children.
Thank you.
Listen to what they're saying.
Oh, you dropped something, ma'am. Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment. Again, for those in line, we will have 3 minutes to speak, and your microphone will turn off after 3 minutes. I'll give you a signal at 1 minute and also at 30 seconds. If you could start by saying your name and where you're from, sir. And again, when you're ready.
My name is David Hurley, and I live in East Asheville. This is the 2nd time that we've tried to come into this building, and if you would, while I'm talking, can everybody just pay attention to me for a minute so you remember my face when I'm talking? No? Okay, I didn't think so. So, ladies and gentlemen of the board, you've received affidavits from all of us. This day has been in the works for about 244 years now. We, everyone in Buncombe County and everyone in America, are to blame. The authority of the government is derived by the people and only by the people. It is we, the people, that unknowingly transform public servants, such as yourself, into elected officials. But here, right now, at this school board meeting, we are taking our power back. Thomas Jefferson said, "When the government fears the people, there's liberty. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny." We, the people, hereby instruct the entire Board of Education of Buncombe County to resign. All we asked for was a simple response to our affidavit. We got nothing. You guys seem to forget that we're the ones that elected you. We elected you to be a voice for us. But instead, you deny us our rights, according to Article 1, Section 12 of the North Carolina Constitution, which says that we have the right to assemble together to instruct our representatives. I'm going to tell you guys, because I don't think you all know, that a pandemic doesn't put our rights on hold. It is in y'all's best interest to understand the oath to which you swore to. You raised your right hand and you said, "I swear to the North Carolina Constitution and to the Constitution of the United States." Yet you don't act like it. I would instruct each and every one of you to understand, actually read those constitutions. Read the documents for which you signed your name to. It's very important. Now, I'm going to urge you guys one more time. Resign. This isn't going to end. We're going to keep doing this. Unless you decide at some point to start acting constitutionally, we will eventually get you guys out of these seats, and we will put people in these positions that want to listen to the people. That's all I have to say.
Yay,
David.
Yeah.
Whoa! We are ready for our next public comment, please.
I'm nervous.
As that person steps up again, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone will turn off automatically.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
1 moment, please.
You'll be fine.
You want time?
Yeah.
I'm shy.
It's all right.
You're shy too, aren't you? No, not really. I've heard people say
I'll give you a signal at 1 minute, also 30 seconds, and if you could start with your name and where you're from. And start when you're ready, please.
Steve Parkin, West Asheville. I don't have children, but I've taught millions of them, literally millions in my life as a retired teacher. The number one thing they tell you as a teacher to do to make sure your kids are learning is to look at their faces. I'm going to say that again. It's not to take a test. It's not to do an assessment. It's to look at their faces. When you put masks on children, that is an impossible task. I wonder what your scores will be. I wonder what the nation's scores will be this year. I get a little tired of educators saying we support you as teachers and then do the contrary. Sometimes I wonder if elected officials actually listen to the news. You might want to check out the Fauci emails, where the guru of all of this, the god of the COVID-19, has said that masks are ineffective and there's more. I hope you look those up. I taught in California. I use the word fled because that's what I did 9 years ago. I fled a beautiful home, a once beautiful place in Southern California on the beach with a view to come to Asheville. And now I find the things that brought me here are going away. This group that's here tonight is not the group that tore down the monument, defaced Asheville, sprayed graffiti everywhere. We are the peaceful ones, and yet we're being treated tonight like we're the enemy. Far from it. But I do want to appreciate, because I've spoken at other board meetings, not here, this is the first board meeting that I've spoken to where the board members actually are looking me in the eyes. So I do applaud you for that. The narrative that you're getting is wrong. We've done the research. Millions of people in America have done the research. Look on the CDC, if you could even trust them anymore. This is nonsense. This is destroying kids' lives. Last thing I will say, my niece teaches in California, high school math. She said every single one of her students, save 10, she should have flunked, but they would not allow her to do so. We have entire populations of kids that checked out of school this year. I'm sure it's happening here too. And the cheating.
Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please. As we wait for our next public comment, again, we'll have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone will turn off automatically at that time. Hi, please when you start, say your name and where you're from, and I will give you a hand signal at 1 minute as well as at 30 seconds. There's also a timer on the table. All right, thank you. Please begin when you're ready.
Hi, my name is Denise, and I'm from Leicester in Asheville. And I'm here to echo what a lot of the other speakers are saying about masking of children being child abuse. I feel very, very strongly about this. I recently found a study about masking showing that long-term masking with both cloth and surgical mask results in breathing in fibers from the cloth and surgical mask. And if it's done over many months and even years, the fibers will collect in the bottom of the lungs and can result in a horrific disease called pulmonary thrombosis. This is horrific. This is not what we want our children to be forced into facing. So I don't think that, I don't know that I can get through to you with any kind of studies, but I'm appealing to your hearts. We don't need to abuse children this way. They need to share their faces. He's dropped the mask mandate for other parts of the area. Why not for schools? Children have a 0.003 risk. It is absurd. It is absolutely absurd. You cannot say that you haven't heard about the dangers of masking, because I'm sure you're getting very well educated, and just know that you will be held accountable if you keep forcing this on our children. If not in this world, in the next, you will be held accountable. So I'm asking you to take the mask off the children. Thank you.
Whose is this?
She quit her job to homeschool her children.
Really?
So it's not down here.
There's no way she would come.
Comment, please step up to the microphone.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to have signed up.
Thank you. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right, please start with your name and where you're from, and I'll give you a signal in 1 minute and also 30 seconds. Okay, please start with your name.
Hi, my name is Hilary Brown. I am a resident of Buncombe County. I'm extremely nervous speaking in publicly, so pardon me of that. Off the top of my head, I would like to say that I was raised by 2 public school teachers. That one is still a physical education teacher to this day. So I do have admiration for the public schools. All my life I've had admiration for teachers. I, however, in the last couple years, decided to take my children out of public school because of the things I saw coming across and down the pipeline across the nation with critical race theory for start. I was raised to believe that God created everybody equally, that we were all children of God, that I treated my neighbor as myself, regardless of race, skin color, anything like that. And so I raised my children that God made us all different, and it's beautiful. With critical race theory being in public schools, I feel that we're going to try and treat racism with racism, and we're turning it to where whites are now called the suppressors, and others are being oppressed. And I believe it could do more harm than good, changing I don't want my kids being raised thinking that they have a privilege over any other race, period. I think for someone to say that, if I were that race, I would be extremely offended. I don't want my children thinking there's any way that they have something over somebody else. So if I were that race, I would be extremely offended to hear somebody of an opposite race say that to me. And then pertaining to masks, I'm definitely glad I have my kids homeschooled. There's been studies out there was a study published out in Nature magazine earlier last year where they did a 10-month study from the first people affected with COVID in Wuhan, where they studied approximately close to 10 million people. Out of that, there were 300 that had asymptomatic cases out of all that tested positive. And then, so from that 300 that had asymptomatic, that were asymptomatic, they did contact tracing and extrapolated the study to a further 1,200 to 1,300 from those original 300 people, and they followed them for 4 weeks. And after the 4 weeks, not a single one had contracted COVID.
Thank you. Sorry, it's been.
Thank you. Sorry, it's been 3 minutes. Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment.
Thanks. Thank you, Hilary.
One moment as our next public comment is prepared to introduce.
I guess you don't have to
A reminder that you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Your microphone will shut off automatically. If you could start with your name and where you're from, I'll give you a signal in 1 minute and also at 30 seconds. Please begin.
Okay, there she is. Yay!
Good job. My name is David Zuzak.
Way to go, Hilary.
I am currently a student at A.C. Reynolds High School, and today I wanted to talk about wearing masks in school and how that has been an extreme struggle for me and several of my peers. So when we went into school this year, every day we went wearing our masks. And I would sit there in class, and by the end of the day, I would have a severe migraine or headache. And that would be very hard it was very hard for me to focus on my assignments. And in the end, I struggled. Said my fourth period class, I ended up with a 67 at the end of the year because I was just trying to focus and I just couldn't get over my headaches because those masks, they makes it harder to breathe, and that's not good for anybody when their breathing is restricted, and it is not, there's a lot of chemical processes in the brain. I'm sorry, but I don't really have much to say. That I really urge the board to really think about how the masks affect not only our mental states, but just how it affects our grades and our education, because we go to school to learn, and it's hard to learn when you have different factors in restricting that. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. We're ready for our next public comment, please.
Board of Education meeting. Go to YouTube and then search for Board of Education meeting. Is the longer we can keep there from writing? It might not be at the top.
As you step up, sir, I'll remind you that you'll have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone will automatically turn off. I'll give you a motion at 1 minute as well as 30 seconds.
As you consider, board members, the future curriculum, please do not institute any critical race theory curriculum. It's divisive, and I don't want our children developing these prejudicial values. It causes folks to blame rather than take responsibility. It encourages retribution rather than working together to educate each other and work together to solve differences. It focuses on racial differences instead of common goals and interests. It misses out on good historical examples and only teaches what meets the theory agenda. It only points out bad in history and community and not what is good. I'm tired of schools dictating culture and morals that contradict parental teaching. Please don't approve critical race theory in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please. Again, for those waiting in line, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone will automatically turn off at that time. You'll be given a signal in 1 minute as well as 30 seconds. Hi. If you could start with your name and where you're from.
Yes, my name is Gloria Michael, and I live in Black Mountain, and I'm a homeschool parent. And I just want to talk to you some about the CRT. In the 1960s, the civil rights movement sought to fulfill Martin Luther King's dream of each child being judged by the content of their individual character, not as a member of a specific group of people. CRT is in direct opposition to civil rights. Dr. White T. Walker co-authored an essay in 2015 in which he spoke of CRT as taking us in the wrong direction, separating even elementary school children into explicit racial groups, emphasizing difference instead of similarities, is a Marxist theory that places individuals in groups based on race and assigns moral value to all persons in that group. This creates division and racism rather than eliminating it. It is also known to divide based on socioeconomic status, political association, and gender. It is indoctrinated in our children. The First Amendment guarantees our freedom of speech, yet critical race theory seeks to limit it by not allowing opposing viewpoints. We are also allowed freedom of thought and belief, as is evidenced by the Supreme Court's decision that a child cannot be forced to salute the American flag in school. Educators should seek to find each student's individual talents and gifts, nurture and develop them. Lessons need to be developed that help students striving to show their abilities and praising their classmates' talents. Children should be sharing their abilities and teaching each other, growing together in community rather than separating in specific blocks. And I appreciate y'all's time and hope y'all have a blessed day. And be blessed. Oh, Gloria Michael, Black Mountain. Gloria Michael, Black Mountain.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good, blessed day.
Thank you. All right, we are ready for our next public comment, please. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Hi.
Hi.
You'll have 3 minutes to speak, and the microphone will turn off automatically after 3 minutes. If you could start with your name and where you're from, and I'll give you a signal at 1 minute and 30 seconds as well. Please begin.
All right, my name is Tamara Parker. I live in Arden. I have 2 children, one that I've had to bring home and homeschool through this, and one who is still currently in school. One of my concerns is the masks. One of my children had a very traumatic experience at the dentist office with someone who had a mask on. Her heart rate goes up to 145 beats a minute just being around people with masks, okay? This stuff is ridiculous. All right, here's some settled constitutional law. This is from the Supreme Court. Emergency does not create power. Emergency does not increase granted power or remove or diminish restrictions imposed upon power granted or reserved. The Constitution was adopted in a period of grave emergency. Its grants of power to the federal government and its limitations of the power of the states were determined in the light of emergency, and they are not altered by emergency. All right, this is the North Carolina Constitution. Article 1, Section 2, all political power is vested in and derived from the people. All government of right originates from the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. So the power of this government does not come from you. It does not come from Roy Cooper. It doesn't come from any elected official. It comes from the people. And you guys need to understand that. And yes, you do need to resign. You ignored us. You are ignoring the people. And you do not deserve to be in these positions. You swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And one more thing, every citizen of this state owes paramount allegiance to the Constitution and government of the United States, and no law or ordinance of the state in contravention or subversion thereof can have any binding force. Therefore, Roy Cooper's mandates have no binding force. Thank you.
Ready for our next public comment, please. Hi, as you enter, I'll remind you, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone does automatically turn off. If you could start with your name.
You did good. Thank you.
My name's Pauline Orban, and I'm from Black Mountain, North Carolina, in Buncombe County. And I'm sad what's happening in our country. It's really sad to me. I don't like what's happening in school. My kids are grown, and I have grandkids. And my grandchildren, thank goodness, go to Christian school. But what's happening is you're teaching racism in our school. I don't understand that. Critical race theory is teaching them to be racist. And it just makes me really sad. I hope there's hope for our country, but I'm starting to question it. Thank you.
Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please.
I want to be the last one. Yes, sir.
Bring the name of Jesus. I talked too fast.
No, you were great. You were perfect.
Mind you, you have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone does automatically turn off at that time. You'll be given a signal at 1 minute and also at 30 seconds.
Oh, good. Okay. Beverly Valentine.
That's your number, right? 239-200.
It's not working. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. All right. Good. Good. I want to close this thing down.
Are you quitting?
Just a moment, they are bringing people into the building.
Yeah.
Have you talked yet?
Use Gloria's when yours gets to.
Do I? I don't know.
Yeah.
Michael's on it. Yeah, I know. I want to hear him. I do too.
Microphone will automatically turn off. If you could start with your name and where you're from, I'll give you a signal. And also at 30 seconds. All right, please begin.
You're at 19%.
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Ginny Judd. I live in the Reynolds District in East Asheville. I have a son who is a rising junior, and he's been forced to wear a mask now for however long this has been going on. I didn't appreciate the opportunity to not speak at the last board meeting. I came here fully prepared to tell my story of the day before the meeting when I took my son to the dentist. And my son, who's never had a cavity in his life, he's 15 years old, and the dentist told me he had so many cavities in his mouth that he couldn't even count them. This has been proven to be a result, as of wearing masks, from the extra bacteria that is being accumulated from wearing them for long periods of time. And I think that besides all of the mental health effects and the ability to not see people's faces, the ability to get this programmed of people are diseases and you should be afraid of your fellow students and your teachers and all that nonsense that's going on. Now we have this problem of people getting, who knows how many cavities my son's going to have as a result of this. And I feel like this should be a choice that we have to make, whether my son is going to get cavities from coming to school. It's just not, it shouldn't be something that people are facing. How am I going to pay for all this dental work that he may have as a result of this? I think you guys should do the right thing. I see many of you sitting here without masks on your faces, and I hope that this will continue on with the students, and next year will be mask-free, tyranny-free, vaccine-free, and fear-free. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we are ready for our next public comment, please.
I need my email. Go get them.
Hi, ma'am, you'll have 3 minutes to speak, and the microphone does automatically turn off after that time. Please start with your name and where you're from.
Yay!
1 minute signal as well as 30 seconds.
My name is Alina Rosiak, and I live in Asheville. My children are grown, but I have grandchildren that I'm very concerned about. I made up the sign, enforce our constitutional rights to be heard. It means a lot to me. I came from Poland, a country that has been run by the communists for a long time. And when I'm seeing that our rights as Americans are being violated by this board, it really concerns me and breaks my heart. I request that any of you who are not feeling up to the par of learning what the Constitution of the United States is all about, please step down for your own children's sake, for your grandchildren's sake. This is a country that we love. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are ready for our next public comment, please.
Good evening. I am from Buncombe County, of course, in Candler. My name is Julie Gunn, and I am here to reiterate, unfortunately, I must say the same things. We must stop the mask mandates. They are unhealthy. We did this back in the 1800s with the Spanish flu pandemic. In that era, people were masked. In about 8 months, we had a massive amount of people that had lung problems, cancers, and all sorts of things. We must stop that immediately. And I mirror the things that the woman from Poland has said. We are under duress here. We need to look up our Constitution. We should be teaching this in the schools. I feel that you people here this evening and last week were not constitutionally compliant. It is upsetting to me, and I see that we are all on a slippery slope. We are the public. We pay your salaries. We want us and all of you to follow the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of North Carolina. We are the first state. We must understand that it has to be properly followed. I have taken my kids completely out of school for this reason. I would not perpetrate child abuse on them. And you all here in this room and on a broader place as far as the country have to start waking up. It is not proper to mask your children. It's not proper to mask yourselves. 25% of your breath for oxygen is missing once you've masked for 10 minutes. You heard the young man speak earlier, 17 years old, and got bad grades because he couldn't breathe. That is deplorable. The children that were to graduate last year were upset from their whole graduation ceremonies. Everything was amok. You must start doing some research, and you must be constitutionally compliant. We have filed paperwork to have you all removed because you are not constitutionally compliant. I am standing before you this evening to make you understand that this is serious business. We are a free country, and we are standing outside demanding our right to assemble together and bring forth a positive situation, positive education for our children. We are asking that and demanding it. We have filed paperwork. If you cannot become constitutional compliant, then it must be time for you to step down. I thank you very much for letting us speak this evening, and you must.
Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please. I would remind you, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone does turn off automatically at that time. I'll give you a signal at 1 minute and 30 seconds. And please start with your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Peter Steckel. I live in North Asheville. I have a son who goes to school in the county, and I'm really unhappy about the mask requirement. And I know the statistics and the science have come out about how this is not the best for children in terms of what they need for their health, for their well-being, for their freedom, for their ability to express themselves. I know Dr. Fauci has conflicted in himself about this, and now the evidence is coming out about that. There are over 1,000 doctors now that have reported about how masks do not really protect against this virus in terms of the real construction of the mask and what really happens with it. So I really want my son to come back to a positive school environment where he can be with other kids and he can learn, and he has the ability to socialize and participate in sports without this confinement that I feel like is hindering him and all the other students and the teachers and the staff. So I ask you to reconsider, because we don't have another choice, and we're running out of choices. And my feeling is that there will be a win-win situation in allowing children to breathe free and to have that experience in their wellness and their health and being the kids that they're meant to be in school without this imposition, where we don't have the science backing that this is really helping them in health and well-being. So I really hope you can reconsider that as a way of helping the entire school environment be a positive environment for the growth and education of the kids. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are ready for our next public comment, please. As you come in, I'll remind you that you will have 3 minutes to speak, and the microphone does automatically turn off at that time. You'll have a signal at 1 minute and also at 30 seconds, and please start with your name and where you're from.
Hello? Hello. My name is Jay File. I'm from Black Mountain, and I am absolutely appalled at what is happening in our country and in our schools today. All of you are breaking the law with the way we're having to come in with this ridiculous plastic thing here in front of me. The air goes all around it. Where has the common sense gone in our schools? And I'm very thankful to see most of you have taken off your masks. I'd like it to be a choice of kids in school, what they do, whether they mask or not. I'd like it to be a choice, a freedom of choice of the individual, whether they get a vaccine or not. I personally am not going to get a vaccine, but nobody should be forced to get a vaccine. And we shouldn't require it for kids in school. I have a number of friends who have children who will be damaged all their life because of childhood vaccines. This vaccine is an experiment. We don't know what it's going to do yet. But I already personally know friends who have died within a week of taking it. So we definitely should not be pushing vaccines on our kids or requiring it for them to go to school. At the same time that I say that, I'm a grandmother now, so my kids are growing here. But if I had kids, I would not be sending them to school because of what's being taught. The critical race theory teaches people that they're bad. You're either an oppressor or a victim. What a bunch of garbage. We are all sovereign beings, and we all are important. There's not such a thing as an unessential person or an unessential child. And I have lots of friends that were school teachers. I'm older. Most of them have retired, but they talked about their last couple years of teaching to me. And it's getting so that they're no longer being able to freely teach and encourage kids' enthusiasm on a subject because it's micromanaged to teach, to put the correct answers on the test, not to critically think, not to creatively think, but to become a robot, to become somebody who just repeats the mainstream narrative, and the mainstream narrative is being pushed by people that do not have our well-being at heart. And until we each individually can stand up and say, we need to get more critical thinking back in our school systems. We need to get more love. Kids need hugs. They need to be able to play with each other. They need to be able to see the faces. Suicides have gone away.
Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you you'll have 3 minutes to speak, and the mic does turn off automatically. I'll give you a 1 minute and a 30-second warning, and please start with your name and where you're from.
My name's Hope Bishop, and I live in Candler. I just want to reiterate some of the stuff that was said before about the scientifically wearing masks that made no difference, no positive difference that I see. As stated recently, Fauci has said they don't make a difference too. I'm appalled that we're not allowed to come into this public forum. We agreed to the conditions. Also, how are you going to put masks on children and then put them in virtual schools? Are they ever going to have human contact? You realize they learn through social cues and human connection. When you're wearing a mask, you can't read someone's emotion. These are important things in the development of children. The critical race theory, I think. I don't understand how it seems that the differences are always being pointed out. We need to focus on the similarities, not the differences. We're all humans. We're all here living today in this context. We didn't live in the context of like the Vance Monument. So I think all the kids are learning by this is fear, and this can't be the new normal. I don't think it's right. And I think that if the school board doesn't agree with the majority of the parents, maybe the school board should resign, because if you want to be able to work hand in hand with someone that's dealing with your children, you don't want to have to be forced to sit outside. Thank you for my time.
Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please.
Hi, you'll have 30 minutes, 3 minutes to speak. The mic does automatically turn off at that time. I'll give you a 1 minute and a 30-second warning. And please start with your name and where you're from. Please begin when you're ready.
My name is Brian Shepard. I'm from Candler. So we live in a society where during a pandemic it's okay to protest and paint the town. It's okay to go by the masses to Black Friday. That's okay, but it's not okay to send our children to school without a mask so they can learn better and just have more fun. That's wrong. That's wrong. So where do we start to get common sense and good logic back into this thing? Well, it starts with the people. They're here. They're telling you how they feel. Now you all got to do your part and do what's right. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, could you?
Brian Shepard.
Thank you, sir.
We are ready for our next public comment. Hello, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Hello. The mic will automatically turn off at that time. I'll give you a 1 minute and a 30-second warning. And please start with your name and where you're from. Please begin when you're ready.
Okay, I'm Sarah Martin. I live in Barnardsville, North Carolina. And I didn't know to love my country until this year, and I realized the things that we've had and I have taken for granted as a citizen, and so I've been trying to be more active and aware of what's going on in my local community and my local government. I was here last month and barred from participation in my local government, and that and I was here to comment on the masking, which everyone who's gone before me, I just want to say I agree with everything that I've been able to hear. And it should be known for the people that aren't able to be in this room because they're watching on the internet, that there are a lot of people that wanted to speak tonight, that they all went home because they had said we may not speak. So many people have already left, and it just feels like extremely sad because it feels like a real hit to our constitutional rights to assemble, to speak, to be peaceful, and that's definitely my heart, and it's really sad. I think masking is wrong. I agree with everybody who said that for this time the mask. I was going to read the Fauci email, but I think someone's already done that. I do believe. I agree with what they were saying before about CRT not being in schools. You can do the right thing at this point. And please allow people to speak when they're outside and we don't eat dinner and we drag our kids around because we want to be heard. And it feels very disrespectful and rude for you to bar us out of the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We are ready for our next public comment, please.
Are you speaking? Are you speaking?
Someone's coming.
Oh, I did.
I do. Thanks for broadcasting. I'm gonna get upset. I get pretty riled up.
Please step up to the microphone. You will have 3 minutes to speak. The mic does automatically turn off at that time. I'll give you a 1 minute, 30-second warning, and please start with your name and where you're from.
Hi, y'all. I'm Richard Liston. I live in Buncombe County. I don't smile much because I'm grouchy. I also don't smile much because when my mother was pregnant with me, the doctors prescribed tetracycline. And for the rest of my life, when I went to the dentist, I opened my mouth and they looked at my teeth and they said, "Oh, the doctors must have prescribed tetracycline to your mother when she was pregnant. It wasn't tested enough." Would it surprise you that the pharmaceutical companies and the media are creating an atmosphere of fear for their own benefit? Would that be a shock to you? Wouldn't to me, because that's basically what's happening. And I expect more from my Board of Education to be subject to, that kind of poor information management. So I'm here in support of all the other people who live here and want to see the right thing done. And I'd ask you to either, to do the right thing, either change your minds about some things or resign, because in 5, 10 years, do you really want to discover that, oh, this was actually not healthy for our kids and you were a part of making it happen? So think about that when you're trying to go to sleep at night. Thank you.
Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please. Hello, welcome. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, and the mic does turn off after 3 minutes. Please start with your name and where you're from, and I'll give you a signal at 1 minute and at 30 seconds. All right, please begin.
I won't be long. My name's Gerard. I live in Barnardsville. Thank you for giving me a voice. First, I want to say that my family and I pray for y'all as people of influence on the children of our community, and I bless you to have a good effect on our kids and on our school system. People have been talking about critical race theory. I just want to remind you that your job as educators, or even maybe some manner of facilitators of education, is to teach people how to think, not to indoctrinate people. Critical race theory is an interesting theory, kind of clever, a lot of problems with it, and I don't oppose the teaching of it as a theory, but I oppose the preaching of it in an effort to indoctrinate people into a worldview. The masks, everybody said everything about the masks. Masks hurt people. I just want to admonish you that if you continue to participate in this demonic campaign of fear, dehumanization, and deception, that it will be better for you on the day of judgment to have had a millstone thrown around your neck and be tossed into the sea. Just a little word of warning about all that. And the other thing is, I'm really concerned about what happened last month. When my wife came to speak to you and address you all, she signed her name on a list, and somebody came outside and lied to her, saying that nobody had signed up on the list. Maybe you got some fine print, the way you can justify that kind of thing. I just want to say that's messed up, and we expect more from y'all. And again, thanks for your help. I hope you do the right thing. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. We are ready for our next public comment, please. For those in line, I would remind you you will have 3 minutes to speak, and the microphone will automatically turn off at that time. We'll give you a signal at 1 minute and also at 30 seconds. Hello. Hopefully you heard our time limit is 3 minutes. Okay, excellent. And if you're willing, please share your name and where you're from.
I'm Maddie. I'm from East Asheville.
Thank you. Please begin when you're ready.
I wanted to comment about some things. I wanted to ask why the affidavits, the 27 affidavits that we sent, we have not received an answer. I am asking for all of you to resign because our constitutional is not being upheld and our rights that we have asked for. I also want to comment on my son that goes to school having headaches, not able to focus. I have a small toddler as well that is scared when people come up to him with a mask because he cannot read their emotions. He doesn't know if they're angry, he doesn't know if they're happy or scared. I have a son that's literally in class being refused to be able to drink and eat because a teacher is so scared that she's going to catch COVID and literally is afraid. So she's literally having the students go outside of the room to drink and eat if they want to snack on anything or if they want to even just drink water. Then tells them that it's okay to get a vaccine without the parental permission. A teacher told my son, just to let you know, if you want to get the vaccine without your parental permission, you can go get it. That is not acceptable. We are their parents. We are in charge of them until they're 18. You cannot tell me that they can make their decision on their own. Like, that is not what children under 18 can do. They cannot make their own decisions. I'm asking you to please stop the mask wearing. I can see all of you guys. I see your faces. I appreciate you not having your masks on. but it's not right for my toddler to be at a playground and other people still having masks on, because we have scared people so bad that children are scared to even be around each other. I'm not even kidding. I was at a playground and there was a parent with a child that had a mask on, and my child got near them. He's 4. And they ripped him away because they thought he was going to give them COVID. We need to end this masks. We need to get normalcy back in school. We need to get it in Buncombe County back normal. At public parks, we need to take those signs down. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We'll just take one moment. Hi, come on in. I can give him this mic. Okay, excellent. Welcome. Come on in. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right. And please start with your name and where you're from. I'll give you 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay. Okay. My name's Vicki Cook, and I live in Barnesville, North Carolina. And, you know, I'm just a country girl. I ain't nothing special. But I think a lot of you were born in my era. And you went to school when I went to school. And it's totally different now. You're trying to teach racism to our kids. You know, and you're making them wear masks like animals. That's going to make them sick. And I just don't understand that kind of thinking. And you guys were over there laughing at us. You know, I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's a bit funny. And why do you not love America anymore? You know, this ain't the America we grew up in at all. And I hope you realize that and think about your childhood and how our grandkids are going to have for a childhood. It's not going to be like ours if we don't stop this now. We have to stop it now. And thank you for listening to me. That's all I had to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are ready for our next public comment, please. Please come in. You will have 30 seconds to 3 minutes to speak, and the microphone will automatically turn off after 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'll give you a 1 minute and a 30-second warning. Okay?
All right.
Please start with your name and where you're from.
Okay. My name's Logan. I live in North Asheville. I can't believe nobody's brought this up yet, but it's not affecting children. The virus that we maybe believed, maybe don't believe in, is not affecting children. So for this mandate to still be in place for our kids and not in old folks' homes or places where it seems more pertinent, it seems really, really counterintuitive and absurd. And just for masks in general, you know, people who work in outfits that have actual contamination issues, work with OSHA and work with the health department to get these things fitted for their faces personally so that it's not spraying out the back, it's not spraying out the sides, it's not spraying under your chin, but that's where that particulate is going to go. So this kind of practice of enforcing mask mandates with kids, with children, it sets a precedent for any opportunistic pathogen that ever comes into public circulation ever again. And how often are we going to keep doing this and perpetuating this hypochondria on children? And that's going to, you know, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically affect them for the rest of their lives. It takes so much damage to undo what we're doing to kids who are so impressionable with this dystopian sign of something that we can't see, and we don't even know if it's evaporated yet, because the PCR is a completely meaningless, pointless test. And we've seen that with a plethora of science, just like we've seen the inefficiency, the inefficacy of masks has been proven with a plethora of science. So if you even have a shadow of doubt in your mind about the efficacy of these things, please take them off our kids and stop extorting parents, especially poor parents who can't afford to take their kids out of the clutches of the state, to practice this abuse with their children. Like the woman who spoke before me, Maddie, she's got kids she has to put in school, and she hates the fact that she has to send her kids to school in a mask. That she doesn't want to abuse her kids like that. But the state is forcing them. And I'm glad I'm seeing this exodus coming out of public schools. I just hope you guys can make the right decisions for parents that have to put their kids in school because they have to make a living. Please stop extorting those parents and let them make that health decision for their child. Thank you.
Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please.
You're angry crying. You're angry talking crying.
For those in line, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone does automatically turn off at that time. I'll give you a signal at 1 minute, at 30 seconds as well. Please start with your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Kara West. I live in East Asheville. I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I just wanted to add my support to all of the voices those brave voices of people who have come here to speak with you tonight. I appreciate that you're here. I believe that if you are serving on the school board, you care about children. I truly believe that. And so I really just want to ask you to look into your hearts, think about what you heard tonight, and do what you know is right. And I'll add one more thing. I have a PhD in social and health psychology. I don't consider myself an expert, but for what it's worth, my understanding of the research is that the masks are very damaging for children psychologically. And also critical race theory, as it's being taught, to the extent that it's being told as the only way to consider that, is also more likely to cause prejudice than it is to reduce prejudice. And I care very much about that. That was actually my main focus of study as a graduate student and as a postdoc, was prejudice reduction. So I'm very concerned about what I think is potentially causing more harm and more division between children. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. Would like to call our next public comment, please? Welcome. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Please start with your name and where you're from. When you have a minute left, I'll go like this. When you have 30 seconds, I'll go like this. All right, please start.
Hello, my name is Jubilee, and I live in Barnardsville. Martin. I'm going to sing the preamble for you. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Thank you. Thank you. Would like to call our next public comment, please? Welcome. I'd like to remind you, you'll have 3 minutes to speak, and the microphone does automatically turn off. I'll give you a signal at 1 minute and also at 30 seconds, and please start with your name and where you're from.
My name is Michael Kaldick from Asheville. I'm a father of a 4.5-year-old and a 10-month-old. I worked in Asheville City and Buncombe County schools as an educator years ago. I will be moving out of the county and homeschooling my children for many of the reasons already communicated to you by others. I'm here to communicate the only thing that really matters. I'm not here to preach to you or scold you, but to share the only thing that matters. 2 Chronicles says, if my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. And here's my story. Our inherent guilt separated us all from our perfect Creator, so our loving, merciful Father God became human, but without any guilt, to pay our eternal prison sentence, if each of us lets him. Jesus paid my sin penalty instead of me, and resurrected from the dead to free me at the age of 20 from my witchcraft and tarot reading, my Far East and New Age religious practices, my demon channeling and my lust and perversion, my alcohol and drug abuse, my hate towards cops and authority, my poverty mindset that kept me homeless, my leftist ideology and hope in politics, and my murder, abortion of my child. He washed away all of my guilt, and he can do that for you too if you want. Religion is mankind trying to earn their own way to God. Heaven is a personal relationship with the living Jesus. This is how to get to heaven in your heart. If you believe in your core and say aloud with your mouth that Jesus is your Lord and believe that he was raised from the dead, he can make your spirit new. You can become a citizen of heaven. This will be evidenced by the change in your thoughts and actions, by your receiving power and craving to do what God says is right. I ask you now to obey your conscience as guided by the living God in Christ and turn your life over to him if you do not know him. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Would call our next public comment, please. Hello. Before we begin, I'll remind you you have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone does automatically turn off at that time. I'll give you a 1 minute and a 30-second warning. And please tell me your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Laurie Fisher. I'm from Swannanoa, and thank you all for sitting here so long and listening to everybody. I'm the last one, so your day's almost over. I live in Swannanoa. I don't have any children. I've never had any interaction with any school board or school except to maybe call a dance for one at a time or two. But I'm here because our whole nation, from the top to the bottommost school board, is under a massive assault. And with all due respect, if you don't have any awareness of this, you are compliant or incompetent or corrupt. Because down to the most humble school board in the country is where these laws are going to interact with all of us. And I'm here to just beg you all to seek the guidance of your higher angels. Do not take the money. Do what's right. Envision a world where the next generation is going to be smarter and better than the previous generation, and the schools will enable them to do that in all levels of their education. So I just want to ask you, you're already in problem. You've all been served affidavits from keeping people out of here before, a major breach of your requirements as elected officials that we are paying. So I just want to ask you once again, seek the counsel of your higher angels. Imagine a free Asheville, a free country where children are learning well and they're safe and we're happy and we enjoy the freedoms that most of us were born into. We get to maintain them going forward. And that's all my short speech because it's a long day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
1 moment. We're verifying if there's another public comment. Two more? Okay. Please enter, sir. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. And the microphone does automatically turn off. I'll give you a 1 minute warning and a 30-second warning. And please start with your name and where you're from.
My name is Cliff Odom. I live in East Asheville. My kids went to the Reynolds School District from grammar school all the way through graduating from Reynolds High School. They both graduated from college. Great education system here, and they learned well. They had great teachers. Of course, they didn't have to wear masks. My wife told me before I came tonight, she's a liberal, I'm a redneck, and she didn't tell me that, she already knew it, but she told me not to make a fool of myself and the family, and I'm trying not to, but I'm a Southern boy. I was raised in the Carolinas and lived in California most of my life. And I didn't want to raise my kids with the kind of stuff that was going on in California. So I wanted to come back where they were free, where they could run around and not worry about being harmed or hurt, and they get a good education, better than they could in California. And I love living here. This is my home. Built my own home 20-something years ago and lived here long enough, lived in my whole life. My kids love the schools here. They love the college systems here. They learned a lot. I don't think, they never came home and told me that they were taught to be politically correct, how to say things a certain way. Gosh, my wife she was the director of human resources for the city of Asheville for a while. Darn good one, the best one they had. And she's politically correct. And she's always catching me, telling me not to say that. It's not politically correct. But I love my kids. I love my neighbors. I have friends that are gay. I have friends that are of all colors. And colors mean nothing to me. Being raised in the South, I picked cottons with the black people. I was the only white guy out there, but I enjoyed being with them, and they enjoyed having me around. I have friends that are black, and I wouldn't have minded if my daughter would have married a person of any other color. I'm a person of color. I've got Cherokee in me, and I don't know, the mask thing is just something that I've seen a lot of things, doctors who've told me through the things that I've watched that they're not good for us. Our kids don't need a mask. They lose their sense of self-identity. You know, I can imagine kids going from high school or graduating from high school, or high school pictures are wearing a mask. Nobody knows what anybody looks like anymore. It's important to see your face, to see your smile, to see, you know, you can see a person through their eyes, but you also see through their whole face, you know, who they are. We're taught to love one another. Love your neighbor as yourself. And if we can't love ourselves, then how are we going to love our neighbors? You guys have a vast responsibility to take these masks off and let our...
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We are ready for our next public comment, please. As you come in, I'll remind you have 3 minutes to speak. The microphone does automatically turn off. And please start with your name and where you're from.
My name is Holly Wheeler. I was from Colorado for 40 years, 50 years, and I just moved out here. About a few weeks ago, I just took possession of a house, and I now live in Asheville, and I'm really proud to be here. And I love what this city stood for and all the wonderful things that I've heard about it my whole life. And now that I'm here and I'm starting to see some of the underbelly of what's going on here and the decisions that people are making, I'm appalled, I have to say. I'm a clinical nutritionist. I had a private practice in Boulder for decades. And I think that you're probably getting the idea that all of us are sort of on the same page. And what I'm realizing is that the information that we are getting is very different than the information that most people are getting out in the world. And that's why we're speaking a different narrative. So when you hear CNN, all the mainstream media news, the Fauci gates, all the information that is being put out by mainstream media, you are only getting half of the picture at best. There are thousands of doctors who are stepping in right now and have been for months and months when they started to realize what was going on and that this is not a vaccine. You can't even call it a vaccine. It is an experimental drug, and they're experimenting on us. And most people don't know that. They're believing that this vaccine that they're calling is actually going to help them bring society back into normal living, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. So what I'm proposing is that when we come again, we will be bringing you, and in the meanwhile, we will be sending you things to educate you about the people that are getting censored left and right, front, center, upside down, where their voice of truth is not being heard. And you're not getting that information. And you need to be getting it so you can make informed decisions. The children are huge. They are our future. They are not being able to grow up with normal psychological and playing with each other and learning the way that children learn. So that's just the tip of the iceberg when you get into the rest of this, about the science that's behind, about what Fauci has done, about the confusion that is being put on all of us. You guys are doing your jobs. I totally know that. I totally know you're doing the best that you can. We all are. I was a huge activist in Colorado. I fought against fracking. And I was the #1 signature gatherer for the entire state to get it on the ballot. We got it up to 43%. I'm a huge activist.
Yes. I'm sorry, that is 3 minutes. Yes, thank you. And I am told that that is our last public comment of the evening, Madam Chair.
It is a truly wonderful feat. We have a special call meeting on June the 30th at 3:30 in the afternoon, and that's to close out the fiscal year and do the superintendent's evaluation. Our next regular board meeting will be August 5th with a work session and updates in closed session beginning at 4 in Bowcatcher, and the open session will begin at 5:30 in the Minotaurium. I wish you all a very happy summer, uneventful summer, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Thank you. I believe there was a second in that. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This meeting is over.
Meeting's over, guys.
Meeting's over.